Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Fitness Friday Posi-TIPS, where on Fitness Friday, it is always the best day of the week. Gotta love it. Now folks, last week I highlighted multiple examples of sales promotion, how important it is to sales. Adding incremental volume, incremental sales, incremental memberships in this particular case to the bottom line. And I highlighted a number of examples. One of the examples that I highlighted, of course, remember on Fitness Fridays, this is not an endorsement. This is not a product or service recommendations. What I give you all, what I share with you all, are merely examples of some good things. And so I talked about Amazon Music last week and how I joined Amazon Prime. I'm always a late adopter. And so it was Black Friday 2019 and set up some playlist on my Amazon Music app. And so they knew, once that started happening, they were like, this woman really uses this Amazon Music. So they had been after me for a very long time to upgrade to Amazon Music Unlimited. And so I shared with you the 4-week free. Actually, this was the most probably aggressive, most generous. This was, or actually is, the most generous offer that I received from Amazon. And so I wanted to let you all know, because prior to that, it had been 3 months. It had been the most generous offer that I'd received. So it had been 3 months. And so they sweetened the deal, and I did want to let you all know, because there is an update since last week when I shared this. And so I did accept their offer of the 4-month free trial. And so we shall see. I actually have a reminder set in my calendar the day before it expires. So at that point, I will evaluate how it's working and do my analysis to see if it's worth keeping. And so, particularly as I delve on in next week, as we talk more about sales, the sales process, and all of that, folks, particularly around sales and marketing and how they both work together, the marketing piece to generate awareness, come up with promotional offers, the sales, and particularly in the fitness framework, fitness facilities, the sales piece in terms of driving those points home, sealing the deal in terms of getting member signups and all of that. It can take a while. Okay, so it's taken me a very long time, and they have been after me via mail. I've gotten emails from them, even in the app. When I would open up the app, it seemed like every other day I would get this pop-up would come up with the 3-month free. Try us, give us a 3-month free trial, give it a try. And so it takes a while. So be encouraged, because I'm an example of that. So we shall see how it turns out. Also, Walmart, I shared with you the Walmart Plus program and how they launched that last fall to compete with Amazon Prime, and how they gave me, and they're giving everyone, if you haven't seen particularly the online ads, and they've got TV ads, and they're just all over the place. They gave me, and they're giving everyone basically, a free 2-week trial. And then at the particular point when I signed up, you would answer 3 questions, because they were trying to generate some additional market research to get some more insights into their potential customers, or members of this program. And so there were 3 demographic questions. So they said, answer these 3 questions and you'll get an additional 15 days for a total of 30-day free trial. So I answered the question, demographic oriented questions, and got the 30 days and evaluated, on day 29, like, not right now. At some point it will be, I'm sure I'll join, but not at this particular point. But I know, and I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting for them to sweeten their offer, because wanting me to join, at the same price everyone else is paying, I know Walmart's going to come back better than that, because many cases like Amazon, they often do. So just realize that when you're talking about negotiating anything, don't just be, oh, this offer, yeah, this is great. Hold out, because many times you will realize that there's certainly a much sweeter deal to be had down the road. So stay tuned for that. Let's see what happens. But on to storytelling. Storytelling. We all have a story. We all have various stories in our lives. And so when we think about, here's a SWOT analysis, opportunities and threats, external strengths and weaknesses, or internal. And some of these strengths can be found in our stories, particularly from a fitness perspective. We all have stories. I was just telling you about, my reaction to the Walmart program and how I've responded to that, the Walmart Plus program. And I have a long history of Walmart. You guys have probably figured that out, like, this woman really loves Walmart. And absolutely, I have a very long history with Walmart. Just a great, and I've realized it's a polarizing corporation. People feel strongly one way or the other, and then there's probably some folks in the middle. But I just remember being a little girl in Biloxi, Mississippi, when we got that first Walmart location on Pass Road. And it was just, and they just, Walmart, particularly in southern states, just really took off. And they're still ubiquitous in many southern states, but all over the place these days. But it was just a really big deal, and I so remember that. And Walmart, just even when I think back to when I was getting my first and second graduate degrees in Florida and Illinois, how, when times were tight financially, especially in Florida when I was broker than broke, and, with just Walmart having that EDLP or everyday low pricing strategy just really helped me to make it through some challenging times in my life. So I'm just incredibly loyal. So, but that's the story. See, there's, you hear, oh my gosh, Rachelle loves Walmart. She's always in Walmart, whatever, that's her story. It sure is, but there's a story behind it. And so even just hearing that, like, oh wow, I didn't realize that she kind of had those kind of emotional connections and history with Walmart. So we all have them. And we all have them in particular. Hopefully we have them in regard to fitness, and particularly those in leadership positions, but in all positions. What is our story? What is our story regarding fitness? Why are we excited about fitness? What do we hope to achieve? How does fitness tie into our passion? How does it tie into our purpose? And so when we think about particularly, evaluating a facility from a facility or chain perspective, whatever the case may be, evaluating strengths. Just say, what is our story? Okay, how do we communicate that? How do we communicate that? And so a weakness could certainly be, a facility. I mean, yes, it's there, but you gotta have the purpose. You gotta have the passion for fitness. That's gotta be reflected in the people. That's gotta be reflected in leadership, because that's when that, okay, the sales, member signups, member retention, it's never going to be easy. I'm never going to tell you that on a Fitness Friday. I'm always going to be balanced and say it's never going to be just easy and you're going to knock it out of the park with ease. But it will make it a whole lot better, because certainly from a sales perspective, folks, storytelling is huge. People love stories. People love stories. What can you tell me about your fitness journey? What could you tell a potential member about your fitness journey? Have you struggled? Has it always been easy? Have you you lost a lot of weight? And so, there's wonderful resources. Find Your Why is a wonderful book, and there's actually the series of books by that same author where it helps you discover and uncover your purpose and your why and realize it. Because, folks, when we have purpose and passion for anything, it is going to show. And particularly from a sales perspective, when a potential member can sense that enthusiasm, sense that passion, sense that purpose, sense that commitment, it will make a difference. Maybe not right away. It may take a while, okay? It may take a while for that person to move, you to move that person through the sales process, but it will make a difference. And so the enthusiasm can be contagious. The enthusiasm can make a huge difference, but it starts with, why do you do what you do? I've a number of resources and things over the years. This is, discovering my own why, because back in college, I didn't have that why. I knew I was very ambitious, very goal oriented. I knew I wanted to make some things happen in life, but I would say definitely I had more of a focus of living a career-driven life. Think about how common this is, a career-driven life versus a purpose-driven life. And sometimes they overlap, but many times they don't. And that's why you have folks that will leave, somebody may be like a CEO of a major corporation, and all of a sudden, they retire, or they actually retire early and decide to go teach in France or something like that. That kind of stuff happens all the time. But then why? You will talk to that person, and somebody will interview that person, and you'll find out. That person will say, this has all been great, but you know what? I always wanted to be a teacher. I love teaching. I love the interaction with students. And so those types of particularly career transitions happen all the time. Having a sense of purpose, waking up with a sense of purpose, waking up with a sense of passion, zest, and zeal for what we do every day. And we've got to have some values. They've got to be aligned. And so that's why many people just wake up every day frustrated, because hate their jobs, they hate their careers, they have no sense of purpose. And folks, we deserve better than that. We deserve better than that. We deserve to, let's wake up with zest and zeal and be on fire like, yes, another day. I'm blessed to live another day. Whose life am I going to impact today? What type of difference am I going to make in the world today? And so we have stories, our journeys, particularly struggles and hardships and all of this and that. Because even when I think about Fitness Friday and how Fitness Friday has evolved over the years, started out when I was at Powerhouse Gym, and then continued on at Planet, and now continuing on at Edge Fitness in Farmington Hills. And so when I think about even my Fitness Friday journeys here, just thinking about where, actually, if you want to know something, and again, going back to the story behind Fitness Fridays, and how it came to be is I was visiting my brother in 2014, his last duty station in the Army in the United States before, he moved to Germany and then subsequently retired, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And in 2014, and my brother, he really encouraged me to, get on Facebook and share my passion for fitness and all of this and that. And so that is truly where it came from, because I don't have a personal Facebook page and never have, not on Instagram, not on Twitter, not on any of that. I'm pretty ruthless when it comes to protecting my time, and I cannot be on all of that. Now, I love YouTube. I could spend a whole day, a whole weekend watching YouTube. I love YouTube. But it's just, for me personally, I have to protect my time. And if I'm on all these different things, and so I've always said no, and I've never signed up for anything like that. And so for me, I was very resistant. Like, no, I'm not doing this, whatever. So, but my brother encouraged me. And so that's how it began. Some encouragement from my big brother, Oscar. And so that's where it began, and that's the story, and it's continued on, and it's evolved, and it's changed, and all of this and that. And so when I realize now, looking back, if I had to do the whole rah, get fit, stay fit, for that, I would have fizzled out. I mean, that's a wonderful thing. There's a lot of people that have the passion for doing that, and that's just part of their purpose and their personality and all of this and that. But I would not have lasted very long doing that. For me, my purpose and my passion, and so it's been a fusion and a growth, certainly a growth, because a lot of growth has occurred over the years, and just introspection and realizing, for me to partner, yes, my passion for fitness, but also my passion for leadership and my passion for business. And so that's why I spend so much time, infusing the three of those, combining the three of those, and having my passion for fitness, passion for leadership, passion for business, and really discussing the business of fitness, and doing so, in a non-commercial manner, where I don't do sponsors, I don't do referrals to gyms, there's none of that. And so I take a truly, as I do in my professional life, consultative approach of how am I going to do this? How am I going to make this work, so I can remain objective and be professional, and my two very big goals that have solidified over the years for Fitness Friday. Number one, tell the truth. Number two, help people. So I've got to do both of those. And when you add the commercialization of things, those two get to be very complicated, because you have to be careful what you say. You got to kind of tell people what they want to hear, and I want to have the freedom, and that's what certainly I've had the freedom to just help people. Because again, if I'm telling people what they want to hear, and it's not going to help them, it's again, just a waste of time. It's a waste of everyone's time. And so that's why I'm very careful about just being, I'm human beings. We all have biases. We all have likes and dislikes and all of this and that. But I work extremely hard to make sure that I'm not sitting here, rah, join my gym. And that's something you saw that when I was at Powerhouse Gym in Novi. You saw that when I was at my gym and in Planet Fitness Commerce. You see it now with Edge Fitness in Farmington Hills. I can't talk about my gym all the time. And let me tell you about my gym. It's very rare that I talk about my own personal gym. Yes, I may talk about, the overall, whether it's corporation, franchise, whatever the case may be. I will do that, yes, but I can't do that. From an audience perspective, people get bored with that. People don't care about my gym. I mean, they really don't. I've been doing this a long time. I've been speaking for a very long time. I know a thing or two about how to keep people engaged, and people just don't want to hear that. I've had to make this about the audience and not about me and in my gym. It's been wonderful. Like me, I'm living it up right now. But I can't do that. And so when you do hear me talk about, when I do share some examples, it's always going to be anecdotal, and it's always going to be, something that's, a personal story time or something like that. And so it's always going to be relevant. There's no just here, let me tell you about my gym, and let me tell you about the promotion that's going on, let me tell you about it. You've never done that, never have, never will. That's just part of what I'm trying to do here, what I'm trying to do. And so 2020, we all of our stories were changed in many different ways as a result of coronavirus pandemic. And I even think of Fitness Friday, and I think about just again how you have to have a balanced view of yourself, what you do, my offerings, and all of this and that. Just to realize how, for many years, very one-dimensional approach. So I could talk to you all about my gym experiences and being in gyms for all of this, and there's 27 years now. But the coronavirus pandemic, when those gyms were closed, all right, all of a sudden Rachelle's one-dimensional approach and background in fitness of only being in gyms changed. Okay, so now we got Rachelle's Home Fitness Center. Now I recently added a stepper, an old school stepper that I used to love back in the day when I first started at Barksdale Air Force Base Fitness Center. I got an old school stepper now and added that to my elliptical and all this other stuff I bought. But now I got a home gym. All right, now I do outdoor. When I go to Louisiana, I have a hybrid format. So we got Oscar and Willette's Home Fitness Center, my parents. So we got Oscar and Willette's Home Fitness Center. I do outdoor there. I go out to the park and power walk and all of this and that. But now I got some different experiences. Now my story changed, all right, from a fitness perspective and certainly from a Fitness Friday perspective. So that is the beauty of adversity. In this coronavirus pandemic, as rough as it's been, our stories have been enriched. We've just got to be able to see it that way and have the perspective and say, how have I grown in the last year? We have all grown. We've all been tested in ways that we never maybe thought we ever would have, folks. But we're still here. We're still here. So let's let the challenges, the adversities of life, propel us, certainly always to the next level, but to become better people and to share our stories And from a sales perspective, your ability to share your story is essential at all levels. You don't have to be a leader, because again, leadership is not always about titles only. All right, some of the most influential people that you meet will be people that may not have those leadership titles. So that's always something for us to keep in mind. And so I've got some examples here of storytelling, some powerful examples of storytelling, 3 different types here. And so, and I'm going to close out with a very quick story of a book that I recently read. This author has a very powerful story that many of us are familiar with based on the news several years ago. But let me get reading here. And so, again, like I mentioned, if I'm talking about my facilities that I'm a personal member of, and I'm highlighting something, it's really, it's really, really, really worth mentioning, because again, I can't be biased and I can't be too promotional like that. But this one right here, and I'm not going to bury the lead with this one. That's why I'm kicking off these examples with this one being Edge Fitness. And folks, when I look back on this coronavirus pandemic, of course, it's still ongoing. I can say with 100% degree of certainty, my greatest source of inspiration that I have laid my eyes on during this coronavirus pandemic is right here. So, March 4th of this year, so keep in mind, I'm going to talk more about this, my process of joining next time, and again, how it can take time. From the very first time I heard about Edge Fitness to the day I ultimately joined. So, joined on the 28th of January of this year, first step foot that next morning to get my key tag and all of this and that. But so joined, now on March 4th, got the weekly newsletter. So talked about those and then just how wonderful they've been. But so there was an article there, and the article linked to this right here. And so it's in the Edge Life blog, and the title of it is Total Access Plus is here. Posted by Jen Cohn, Kuehn, hope I'm pronouncing that right, on February 27th, 2021. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to read all of these examples. In the interest of time, I'm going to flow through it pretty quickly here, but you'll get the point. When we talk about storytelling as it relates, and particularly as it being a marketing tactic, certainly, but in relation to sales, it is so important. Let me read this for you. It begins by saying, passion project, exploring something you are passionate about, yet technically it's a project because it's for work. Although when one is loving and enjoying what they do, Is it really work at all? For the past year, our entire Edge team has been working hard, really hard, on the ultimate passion project. There are so many individuals that were instrumental in creating our passion project that I'm not sure where to begin or how to name them all. Let's start at the beginning. March 2020. We were on the cusp of a global pandemic. Grocery stores were running low on food, toilet paper was nearly impossible to find, and we were all trying to figure out how to navigate what felt like a bad dream. This COVID crisis was something we had never experienced before. In the midst of the chaos, we had an idea. The world was changing, but our intention to bring fitness to our members remained the same. If we couldn't operate our group exercises classes in our 32 locations, we would devise, develop, and deliver a new way to access the Edge experience. When we dare to dream big, we often share these brave ideas with two types of people. The first type of people are the dream crushers, individuals who think that your idea is too much, too big, too bold, too expensive. They will try to talk you out of pursuing your dreams. The second type are the people in your life who encourage you, challenge you, offer advice, support you with a resounding go for it. I approached our senior leadership team that fateful March of 2020 with the idea to move our Group X classes to social media via Facebook and Instagram. The owner and founder, the CEO, CFO, CAO, COO, VP of HR, and Director of Operations, they all, without a doubt, said go for it. They didn't question it. They didn't think twice. They believed in our purpose and our passion. See, folks, it's always there. I added that. That wasn't part of this reading. If members couldn't physically come to the Edge, we would bring the Edge to them. And so, my friends, for the past 11 months, we as a team have been redefining boundaries and going for it. March 17, 2020, we had our first class on Instagram. Our instructor was going through a workout with 2 Home Depot gallon buckets filled with rocks, a backpack filled with books, and a warm, welcoming smile. We all tuned in for that first class, and I was hoping and praying that this was indeed a good idea. People tuned in, and not only did they watch, they loved it. It was in that moment we knew we were creating something special. Our online platform proved to be a worthy vehicle to help others through one of the most difficult years of our lives. When we hire group exercise and spinning instructors at the Edge, do you know what their top 2 requirements are when teaching a class? Number 1, deliver an amazing experience. Yes, we spell amazing with an H. Number 2, have fun. That requirement was no different for our instructors teaching live classes. You see, at the Edge, we're all about the experience. From the cardio cinema to the shakes, to the women's only area, to the 4 different types of treadmills and the dry sauna. It's not just a workout, it's an experience. Now we had to create that same Edge vibe through our mobile devices. As for fun, we believe, pardon me, the ring is someone is at my front door dropping off a package. As for fun, we believe that joy is a key ingredient to your workout. Life is stressful enough. So at the Edge, we see our buildings as sacred structures where you can move your body, clear your mind, and smile. Could we cultivate that connection and Edge vibe over the internet? Truth be told, we were not sure what we were doing at first, but soon discovered members, non-members, and people around the world were tuning into our live classes. We started a morning motivation group where every day we'd all jump on for 15 minutes to connect, share, learn, and check in to see what was happening with our new virtual family. To our surprise, it was all a big hit. In the past year, hundreds and thousands of people have absorbed and appreciated our content. While we had our share of successes, we also had a few challenges along the way. Oh, Wi-Fi. On many occasions, the Wi-Fi would go down and our online classes would disappear. Along the way, we quickly became expert in music licensing and rights. We soon realized that we were outgrowing the limitations of Facebook and Instagram. The time had come to create a platform where we could evolve and provide you, our members, with an even better Edge experience. What you don't know is that for the past year, we have been studying, evaluating, and building our own platform. A place where innovation and entertainment meet fitness. A place where we can create programs, workouts, classes to help you elevate your mental and physical game to the next level. A place where you can connect with our instructors and our Edge community. After all, we're more than a gym. We're a team, a family, a community. We spent countless hours testing everything from the sign-up process to how to watch replays. After all, we know that you love to watch the videos on the replay. There was a lot of time, love, sweat, and even a few tears in this year-long process. Through it all, our intention and purpose never wavered. We remain committed to bringing you the best platform so you can become your best self. You know the feeling when you graduate from high school or college? Or maybe the feeling of winning the championship game in overtime? That feeling of accomplishment, that's what this feels like for us today. We had a big idea, a big dream that at times seemed scary. But our why was bigger than our fear. We knew why we were doing this. We knew who we were doing this for. Our passion project would positively impact the Edge family. We were committed to going for it. What was once our passion project is now your platform. Today, we proudly share the newest addition to the Edge experience, Total Access Plus. Sincerest appreciation to you, our members, for inspiring us, to our leadership team for guiding us, to our Edge team for making it happen. So this is the message here. And so folks, that right there, I mean, this is something, and I have examples that I use certainly on the professional level from training and teaching and certainly consulting standpoint, but I have examples, and this is going to be one I'm going to be highlighting for years to come. There is so much in this that I don't have. I mean, I could just do the whole episode on this right here from a leadership perspective, from a workplace, from an employee standpoint. It's just, there's so much here from a creative development, creative ideation, marketing, sales. I mean, there's so much here. Teamwork, collaboration. There is a lot here. Innovation, all right, overcoming adversity. See all of these typical and type themes that this falls under. And so it doesn't matter if you've never created a platform before. I mean, you heard me read those words. There's no doubt in my mind that some of those words echoed with each and every person hearing this in some aspect of life, because it's all about overcoming adversity. The coronavirus pandemic hit us all, took us all by surprise. We're, oh no, what are we going to do? Lives were changed. We had to innovate, we had to pivot, we had to make some adjustments in various aspects of our lives. But this was a very good example of that. All right, there could have just been a message saying, here, this is our newest platform. You know, here it is, bam. All right, but know that link to the story behind the new platform. Okay, when you read that, when people read that, you think like, wow, like this is really good. A lot of vulnerability and just openness in this particular post here, just a lot here. But don't be afraid, particularly from a leadership perspective, don't be afraid to tell the story, the authentic, vulnerable story of how things happen. All right, giving acknowledgement, as Jen did in this message, to everyone who made it happen, from the members all the way to the founder. All right, it was a team effort. It was a team effort, and I'm sure that each and every one of us in our lives, it takes a group of us, several minds coming together, or several hands, whether if it's some type of manual project, coming together to make things happen. Don't be afraid to share credit. Have the confidence to share the credit with people. But folks, these are some of those stories that have come out of the challenging valley of the coronavirus pandemic. This right here, this platform was born. So here's an example. I had to kick off with that one. I remember that Sunday morning when it came out, I was absolutely riveted reading that. It really, again, number one, I'm a storyteller. Number two, I'm very big on inspiration. So you could see why something like that would really speak to me. But folks, that is an example. Tell your story. Tell your story. Don't be afraid to tell your story. All right? Vulnerabilities and all. Be open. Okay, that makes you relatable. That endears you to people. So folks, don't be afraid to open up and tell your story. And the second one I want to highlight here is an example of an email. Bear with me, I've got to find it. I've had this here for a while. where is it? From Justin Tillinghast. So this was a prospecting email that I received. It's been a while. March 1st, 2021 at 9:45. The title of the email is Finding Something Positive in All of the Negative. Sports Art Launches Elite Cardio Line. So let me give a quick insight on this. Okay, Sports Arts is a brand, is certainly a fitness treadmill manufacturer. And so this right here is a prospecting email. So there's no hi Rachelle and nothing, personalized with this particular message. So this went out to, I'm sure, me and plenty of other people. So I'm going to read this, of course, in its entirety. This is a promotional email. This is coming from a salesperson. So that's why I'm just openly reading this email. If it's sensitive information or anything like that, I don't read those type of messages on Fitness Friday or any other type of public platform. But this right here was very good. Also, telling a story about this coronavirus pandemic, how it's impacted, how it impacted things at Sports Art during the last year, but also including some vulnerability. And so I'm going to read this as well. So the title of this message, if I haven't said it already, Finding Something Positive in All of the Negative. Sports Art Launches Elite Cardio Line. Good morning. Hope this email finds you well. The pandemic has taken a pretty devastating toll on the health, fitness, and wellness industries. After spending the past 15 years working for manufacturers, it was really a difficult challenge for both me personally, but also professionally, as the momentum that we had gained with our Eco Power line of equipment was wiped out. I am sure many of you are struggling to make sense of what business and the industry will look like as we begin to emerge out of winter and are renewed in the spring. It will be important to welcome our members, students, and clients back and show them how important fitness is to our overall health. During this time, Sports Art has been very focused on what we have learned from our customers and their clients and have launched a new cardio line that is affordable, approachable, easy to use, and most importantly, designed beyond expectations. Our new Elite Eco Power line continues to capture the kinetic energy of users and pushing it back on the local grid, thus being the most environmentally friendly equipment on earth. And he has a link to that particular product. While we understand that sustainability may not be part of the vision for your facility, we too produced a new elite line of traditional cardio, which still gives you our famous 5-year parts and 3-year labor warranty. We needed to make sure that we could deliver a high-quality cardio product, which differentiates itself by its durability and entertainment options. These new intuitive options are available on our treadmills, ellipticals, and bikes. And there's another link here to some more products. I understand that you may not be in the market for anything right now, but I wanted to shine some light when there has been mostly darkness. Sports Art is committed to growing our market share, but also listening to the market and end users and what they want out of their workouts. I hope that you will consider us in any future purchases and want to thank you for your commitment to our industry and working on keeping the world a happier and healthier place. Regards, Justin. Justin Tillinghast is the Eastern Regional Sales Manager for Sports Art Fitness. And so, again, not a product promotion, just an example there. And so, very open, very vulnerable. Again, he's talking about the challenges. And so, again, despite the pandemic, and I smiled when I saw this, I was like, yeah, he's the sales manager, because the beat goes on. Okay, pandemic or not, okay, there's still a product, or in this particular case, there's products, there's treadmills, there's bikes, there's ellipticals that need to be sold, that need to be moved, that need to be, the process has to keep moving forward. And certainly nobody understands this more than the salesperson, because when you've got quotas, you've got goals, the coronavirus pandemic, and certainly facilities being shut down, yes, things kind of stopped, but for particularly sales professionals, superiors don't want to hear that. They want to hear what you're doing to overcome obstacles, what are you doing to achieve your goals despite having challenges such as the coronavirus pandemic. And so Sports Art, and I read this because, once again, and I've told you guys this before, when you subscribe to Club Industry, when you get those e-newsletters, in athletic business, I get the actual physical copy, but they do send a daily e-newsletter as well. This is the March 21st, 2021 edition. And so this is the buyer's guide that comes every year. And so it's full of different products and all of this and that. But when you do that, because they are free subscriptions, they will sell your list. So you will get prospecting emails all the time from different, and that's why I received this, even though I don't own a facility. That kind of gives you some context of why I would get a prospecting message like that. But you get all kind of people contacting you. And so Sports Art, they advertise all the time in Athletic Business Magazine. But I know just reading that message, it just, I don't know, it was a personal touch for me, certainly to see Sports Art. and then to actually read about it in this message, just to have the enhanced perspective of it based on this Justin's email here. But so the beat went on. The beat went on during the pandemic. This was obviously earlier, a few months ago, 3 months ago, and so wanted to highlight this as an example where, hey, he was very relatable email. We've all had some challenges here with this pandemic, but hey, I still got some products. Sports arts is still around, all right, and many other entities have done the same thing. This is just an example that I received. And I do remember reading that and thinking, wow, this is really good, and that's why I saved it, because I knew at some point when I discussed storytelling, I said I knew this was going to be one of the bunch. This was going to be one of the bunch. The last example, before I close out here with a quick reading of a portion of a book, received another email, and this one was May 5th this year. Title is How to Keep Up with the Best Online Fitness Coaches in 2021. And so this message was actually sponsored by AV Now. Again, not a product recommendation or suggestion on my part, but a very good storytelling email. Not going to read it all. It's lengthy, and in the interest of time, just wanted to highlight, again, the storytelling behind this. A time before, and he starts off by saying here, a time before online fitness was a thing. Okay, he's got the title there. My prized possession was a landline phone with a fancy answering machine. Without a cell phone, I look forward to the excitement of coming home to that brilliant red light with intermittent flashes, letting me know I had messages. There were always messages because everyone would always leave a message. If not, you would be asked in a very unpleasant tone, why didn't you leave a message? And all you could say was, I don't know, I'm sorry, because there was no good answer. Leaving a voicemail now would most likely get a why didn't you just text me in a similar unpleasant tone. Although technology would rapidly advance from then until now, certain aspects would remain the same. I'm sure everyone would feel just as nervous going to the gym for the first time in 2021 as I did back in 1999. Being a 19-year-old at the time who hadn't filled out yet, I would have appreciated the online fitness option as a prequel to the big boy gym. The only choice I had was to march my skinny self down to the gym while keeping my undeniable fear from taking over. Otherwise, I would chicken out and walk back home, resembling previous attempts. One day, I finally built up enough courage and walked to the gym. I opened the gym door with purpose, stepped aside, and saw something I'd yet to see. I thought to myself, either the Roman convention was in town, or I was on candid camera. As it turns out, it was just a group of very fit guys together in one room wearing tank tops, and that is just what they look like. Silly me. Since I was already in the door, I used it as motivation rather than feeling complete intimidation. I soon realized that I had nothing to fear. I felt a sense of community with people who all started like me. We wanted to be stronger, gain confidence, improve our health, and always be beach ready. The fitness industry evolved more in the last year than we saw in the previous 10 years combined. Up until the pandemic, advances in technology, gym equipment, lights, and sound would gradually improve at a reasonable rate, resembling more like a glacial pace than this past year. In an instant, you needed to offer outdoor or online options to stay in business. So it is a very long article. I'm not going to go through all of that. But again, look at that story behind this AV Now company, Fitness Sound, the story behind before they march in, this is our product, this is where there's the features and benefits, all of that. I had to click on a link that would take me to all of that. And again, once again, this is not promotional, so I'm not going to go through all of that. But receive this, prospecting, another prospecting email. All right, so not afraid to tell the story. Okay, the stories draw people in, and this, of course, isn't just true for speakers and trainers and professionals like myself. This is true for all of us. All right, stories. We love to hear other stories, authentic, real. There were some vulnerabilities in there, like, hey, I wish the online would have been an option for me back in the day. He walked into what he called the big boy gym, and just all these other people were in there. So, folks, it is powerful, whether you're trying to sell a product, whether you're trying to sell a service, whether you're trying to sell whatever it is, a membership, whether you're trying to bring awareness and get folks to utilize a platform, a fitness platform that has been newly launched. Folks, stories are powerful. You want to relate to people. If you want it from a membership, new member acquisition perspective, sales perspective, okay, what's your story? Okay, when you're giving somebody a tour, what's your story? Do you have a story? Do you have a fitness story? Okay, find out about that person's story. Okay, there's going to be some, we're going to talk more about this next time, there's going to be some needs that will be revealed in that story. All right, that you'll be able to uncover, tailor your presentation, your sales pitch, your communication to, your conversation to. But stories are powerful. Stories are powerful. Just an unlooked way, just a very underrated way of achieving results, getting folks' attention, draw people in with a story, keep people engaged with a story. We all have stories. 2020, this pandemic has given us all different types of stories. It's certainly enriched our stories, all right? These are the stories of our lives. The plot thickened when that coronavirus pandemic hit us, right? And so I want to close in, the spirit of storytelling with a very powerful, very quick example. I'm not going to, this is a huge book, but very inspiring book that I purchased here recently, finished it this week. And by Michelle Knight, okay? And in case anyone is wondering, Rachelle, I know you got that book from Dollar Tree. I absolutely did. And you'll be pleased to know I actually got this from the Dollar Tree. That's actually in the same shopping center. It's Edge Fitness as my gym. So on Saturday mornings when I finish my workout, I pop on into that Dollar Tree right there in the same shopping center and check out their book section. But wonderful find. Like I said, they have wonderful books there, particularly inspirational books. But Michelle Knight, she was one of the 3 ladies that was held captive in Cleveland. You remember that story from a few years ago, by Ariel Castro. And he held them captive for, in her case, she was with him for 11 years. 11 years of captivity and torture. It was a very, very rough story. I mean, it was on the news, and remember times, I know she was interviewed by Dr. Phil and many others, but anyway. Her book here, Life After Darkness, was a wonderful read, very eye-opening, but through all of that tragedy and trauma, hardship, suffering, captivity, slavery for 11 years, as she discusses in the book, has given her a sense of purpose in terms of helping other people that have been abused, that have been mistreated. And so her testimony, her story is very, very powerful. And I just want to read you a couple of quick snippets here, and I'm going to close this episode out. But again, the storytelling is powerful in various ways. Whether you're trying to make a difference in someone's life and help them to overcome trauma, hardship, adversity, and abuse, or if you're trying to get a new person to join your gym. All right, folks, storytelling is powerful. And I know I dog-eared it here. Yep, here we go. So it says, not going to read it all, it's a lot here. That realization warmed and strengthened me, but there were other realities that weren't so pretty. I was 32 years old and had lost all of my 20s, probably the most robust years of any human being's life, to Castro and captivity. My body was broken. My heart was torn apart. My mind had been challenged to its limits. I was frail and exhausted, and I was alone. I had a long way to go and a lot of healing to do if I was to build a new life after darkness. Healing doesn't happen overnight. It is a process that takes time and moves in stages. I had to nurse the wounds, some of them very deep, that went all the way back to my childhood. I had to treat the injuries from years of suffering, even if I couldn't make the scars disappear. I had to soothe the pain and, in some cases, such as the pain from the loss of my son, learn to live with it. I made my share of mistakes along the way. There were people I trusted I should not have trusted, things I did that I wish I could undo. Moves I made I would like to roll back. I can't. But survivor's grit teaches you how to turn mistakes into strengths. I picked myself up and kept going. We think about the coronavirus pandemic, folks. She picked herself up and kept going. And I'm going to read this final quote of hers as she opened up chapter 2, and it says, "You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. And giving up is not an option." So folks, adversity, hardship, tough times, coronavirus pandemic, other adversities that we may face in life, and we all do. Adversity is universal. There are no exceptions because there are no perfect lives, there are no perfect people. The willingness, the determination, the grit, the commitment to overcome adversity is powerful. And it's through those seasons of life, it is through these times of testing, it is through these seasons of suffering, folks, that our stories are developed. That our stories, that truly, I mean, the plot thickens, all right, like for all of us, all right, in 2020 and certainly currently. All right, the plot thickened for all of us in our life stories of 2020. So from a professional standpoint, from a personal standpoint, folks, we all have stories. Embrace your own story, but also be open, willing, interested in learning and hearing about the stories of other people, because that's how we learn, that's how we grow, that's how we move things forward. Storytelling, the power of storytelling to make a difference, to impact lives in one way or another. All right, some person may be, trying to get a person to sign up for a gym membership, but if they are willing to share their story of their own weight loss journey or their own journey towards success over the years, can be powerful when discussing a gym membership with a prospect or potential member. All right, so a person who, I want to cancel my gym membership, I want to cancel my studio membership, this just isn't working out, I'm not seeing results. All right, somebody in a sales role, somebody in a member engagement role that's tasked with, member engagement in particular, that's tasked with, also helping an account manager or salesperson serving as a second line of defense in terms of helping to get new members, but also to retain members. All right, so when that person is frantic and I want to quit and this isn't working out, or even a trainer with a training client, or a Go fitness instructor with somebody that's been in their class for 2 weeks, it isn't working out, I'm not seeing results. All right, if that person in that role that's on the receiving end, hearing that says, well, hey, let me tell you about my story, or let me tell you about my mom's story, my dad's story, my brother's story, let me tell you about another member in this gym. You don't certainly disclose their personal information and all of that, but certainly someone in a leadership role can say, hey, I've had many of training clients struggle, all right, but they hung in there. These certain people hung in there, and these are the results that they saw. This is what you can also achieve if you don't give up. Stories are powerful, all right? Stories can be related to, they're relatable, as I stated, folks. So just embrace the power of storytelling. It is a very big advantage, certainly from a sales standpoint. And so, folks, that is all I have for you today. Next week, I'm going to move on into the sales process. Going to look at a couple of aspects of mechanical aspects of a sales call, of a sales interaction. And so I can't wait. Stay tuned for that. That is all I have for you today, folks. This is part of my purpose in life. This is part of my passion. Fitness Friday is certainly always a highlight when I'm here being of service to you folks. So stay tuned for next week's episode. But until then, remember, I am positively passionate about your leadership, success, fitness, and absolutely sales. Make it a great day.